Tokyo's National Stadium, May 18, 2025. Every eye in the athletics world was locked on Lane 6, where Sha'Carri Richardson crouched in the blocks for her season opener. The reigning 100-meter world champion, fresh off Olympic silver and relay gold from Paris 2024, was expected to dominate. But when the gun fired, something extraordinary happened, something that looked so impossible, so unexpected, that it seemed like a technical error. Bree Rizzo of Australia stormed across the finish line in 11.38 seconds, leaving Richardson trailing in fourth place at 11.47. The upset was so stunning that even Rizzo herself couldn't believe it. The first thing my sister texted me was, "Your face just looked so shocked," Rizzo said. I was thinking, what the hell? I just won. I didn't expect to win that race. This wasn't just any victory. This was the moment an Australian sprinter with an unconventional background defeated one of the greatest sprinters of our generation at the very venue where Richardson will defend her world title in September. The Seiko Golden Grand Prix delivered one of the most remarkable team performances in recent athletics history. Australia claimed 6 victories across the meet, with 3 new records tumbling in the process. Host nation Japan was the only country to secure more wins than Australia, whose 6 victories topped the USA's 4, a statement result that sent shockwaves through the athletics community. The conditions were far from ideal. Athletes faced a challenging headwind of negative 0.9 meters per second, making fast times difficult to achieve. Yet Australia's distance runners carved through the opposition with ruthless efficiency. Georgia Griffith demolished the women's 1,500-meter field, clocking 4 minutes 1.10 seconds to break a 10-year meeting record previously held by Ethiopian great Gudaf Tsigai. Her time also registered as the fastest outdoor performance of 2025. Rose Davies followed suit in the women's 3,000 meters, powering to victory in 8:43.38, nearly 6 seconds ahead of her nearest competitor. The margin of victory was as impressive as the time itself, demonstrating the depth of Australia's middle distance program. Jude Thomas completed the distance sweep with a personal best of 7 minutes 39.69 seconds in the men's 3,000 meters, a performance that elevated him to 10th on the all-time Australian rankings. His time shattered the previous meet record and sent a clear message that Australia's endurance program was operating at an elite level. The women's 100 meters began with drama. Richardson appeared to twitch on the starting line, forcing officials to call back the field for a restart. The false start added pressure to an already charged atmosphere, with Richardson seeking redemption in the city where her Olympic dreams had been derailed in 2021. Richardson's Tokyo history ran deep. After dominating the U.S. Olympic trials in June 2021 with a stunning 10.86-second victory, she was positioned as America's top medal hope. However, a positive test for THC just weeks before the Games resulted in a 30-day suspension that eliminated her from the 100-meter competition. Returning to Tokyo for the Golden Grand Prix represented a chance for redemption in the same stadium. When the race finally began, Richardson's problems multiplied. She was slow out of the blocks, a critical flaw in sprint racing where hundredths of seconds determine victory. Running with strapping on her lower right leg, she never established the rhythm that had carried her to World Championship gold and Olympic silver. Meanwhile, Rizzo was executing the race of her life. Despite acknowledging it wasn't her best start either, her superior top-end speed carried her through the field. So I wouldn't say it was my best executed race, and it was probably my worst block start of the season, but my top end carried me through, and it was really cool to take some scalps here in Japan, Rizzo explained. The final result told the story. Rizzo 11.38, Twanisha Terry 11.42, Sade McCreath 11.46, and Richardson 11.47. For the second time in just over a year, an Australian sprinter had defeated the American star, following Tori Lewis's victory over Richardson at China's Xiamen Diamond League meet in April 2024. Bree Rizzo's path to elite sprinting defied every conventional athletics narrative. Born on June 24, 1995, in Hurstville, New South Wales, she began her athletic journey in little athletics at age 6 before initially pursuing a dance career. Her transition into beach sprinting marked the beginning of an extraordinary journey through multiple sporting disciplines. At 13, Rizzo became the youngest female to win an Australian beach sprint title, a record that highlighted her natural speed and competitive instincts. Her beach sprinting achievements accumulated rapidly. Youth Beach Sprint and Flag Champion in 2012, Open Female Beach Sprint World Champion in 2016, and Open Female Australian Beach Sprint Champion in 2019. Her selection for the Australian life-saving team represented the pinnacle of surf sports achievement. The team selection process identified the country's elite surf sports athletes, and Rizzo consistently delivered on the international stage. At the 2016 Rescue World Championships in the Netherlands, she claimed gold in the women's beach sprint and secured silver in the beach flags event. The transition to track athletics in 2019 marked a calculated gamble. After an 8-year absence from track competition, her first 100-meter race produced an impressive 11.63 seconds, a time that immediately signaled her potential for elite track success. Under coach Ryan Hoffman's guidance, Rizzo's track progression accelerated rapidly. Her 2022 World Championships debut in Eugene saw her clock 11.29 seconds in the heats, though she failed to advance. The result provided valuable international experience and highlighted the work required to compete at the sport's highest level. Consecutive silver medals in the 100 meters at the 2021 and 2022 Australian Track and Field Championships established her position among Australia's sprint elite. Her participation in major international events, including the 2022 World Championships and Commonwealth Games, continued building her competitive experience. The 2022 Commonwealth Games delivered breakthrough results. Rizzo reached the 100-meter semifinals and contributed to Australia's 4x100-meter relay team, which was later awarded bronze, a result that validated her international capabilities. Her 2023 season peaked with a personal best of 11.23 seconds, establishing her among the world's top sprinters. The 2023 World Championships provided additional international exposure, setting the foundation for her 2024 Olympic qualification. The 2024 Paris Olympics marked a historic achievement for Australian women's sprinting. Rizzo became the first Australian woman in 24 years to reach the Olympic 100-meter semifinals, clocking 11.26 seconds in her heat and 11.34 seconds in the semifinal. She also anchored Australia's women's 4x100-meter relay team, which posted 42.75 seconds in the heats but failed to advance to the final. Her progression continued into 2025 with a personal best of 11.09 seconds at the Perth Track Classic on March 1st, establishing her as a legitimate sub-11-second threat. Rizzo's victory at the 2025 Stawell Gift represented one of the most remarkable achievements in Australian athletics history. The prestigious 120-meter handicap race requires runners to overcome significant starting disadvantages, with some competitors receiving up to 10.5 meters head start. Running off scratch, meaning no handicap advantage, Rizzo completed the 120-meter distance in 13.52 seconds, overtaking every competitor who had started ahead of her. The victory made her only the second woman in history to win the Stawell Gift off scratch, a feat that highlighted her exceptional speed and tactical awareness. Still speechless, I've etched myself into the history books this Easter Monday with one of the best runs of my career to date, Rizzo posted after her victory. She described the performance as the race of my life, a statement that gained additional significance following her Tokyo triumph. The Stawell Gift victory carried personal meaning beyond athletics achievement. Her husband, Matt Rizzo, had won the men's Stawell Gift in 2017, making them the first couple to both claim titles at the event. The parallel achievements demonstrated the exceptional athletic talent within their household. The Golden Grand Prix results reflected the broader strength of Australian athletics. The 16-strong Australian team had traveled to Tokyo with confidence, and their performance exceeded expectations across multiple disciplines. Sarah Billings supported the middle-distance success with third place in the women's 1,500 meters, clocking 4 minutes 6.75 seconds. Her result, combined with Griffith's victory, demonstrated the depth of Australia's 1,500-meter program. A 16-year-old nobody from Japan just did what no teenager ever has. He ran 100 meters in 10.00 seconds, faster than Bolt at his age. A new world under 18 record. But how did this happen? This wasn't a photo finish. His margin over the runner-up was nearly 0.3 of a second, a massive gap in sprinting terms, especially in a final of this caliber. Shimizu's 10.00 broke the previous under 18 record, 10.06, held by American Christian Miller and Thailand's Purapol Boonson since 2023. He didn't just beat it slightly, he smashed it by 0.06 of a second. That may sound small, but in sprinting, it's a huge difference. Even more impressive, his time surpassed what Usain Bolt had ever run as a 20-year-old. Bolt hadn't broken 10.00 at that age. His lifetime best at 20 was 10.03. As of now, Bolt still holds the senior world record of 9.58, but for teen standards, Shimizu is rewriting comparisons. He is faster than Bolt at the same life stage. That's rare air. To put that into context, very few athletes ever dip into the 10.00 range, even at the peak of their careers. For a high school student to do it, it's borderline unbelievable. This is the kind of performance that shifts paradigms and forces coaches, analysts, and athletes around the world to take notice. What exactly is happening in Japan's sprinting system that allowed this teenager to drop such a world-class time? Before this, no Japanese high schooler had managed that kind of speed. Shimizu also erased a 12-year-old national high school record of 10.01, previously held by Yoshihide Kiryu. Today, his mark places him tied for 5th on Japan's all-time list, even alongside seasoned pros and Olympians. Only elite names like Abdul Hakim Sani Brown and Yoshihide Kiryu are faster. This one race elevated him from unknown to national sprinting elite overnight. Shimizu wasn't even on many radars before this breakout. Unlike other teen prodigies who gain early media attention, he developed in relative quiet. His previous best was a 10.19, impressive but not record-breaking, so how did he make such a leap? Serato Shimizu hails from Ishikawa Prefecture in Japan and attends a school known for athletic excellence. Reports say he had run a 10.37 a year earlier and then improved to 10.19 in early July, so this leap to 10.00 built fast. Clearly, he's been on a steep upward trajectory for months. He had ambition. Shimizu later said, "I was determined to run under 10 seconds heading into the final." When his time flashed up, he was ecstatic, praising the record and expressing a desire to compete internationally. It wasn't just about speed, it was about control, posture, and power distribution. Analysts pointed out his flawless acceleration phase and clean mechanics through 60 meters. That's rare in teenagers, where raw speed often overshadows technique, but Shimizu combined both, and that's what separates sprinters from champions. Shimizu isn't alone. Teen sprinters worldwide are racing into new territory. In Australia, a fellow 16-year-old named Gout has captured attention for breaking a long-standing national 200-meter record with a 20.02 run. His best in the 100 meters is around 10.17, though. It falls short of Shimizu.
Nobody does. Maybe Bolt did back then, but Gout wouldn't be, but he's holding his form, and as the others slow, as they tire, so he eases past them. It's a personal best for Gout, 20.02, with just checking what the wind was doing that. Zero wind, still air there, and Gout has taken it to Menya and said, anything you've got, boy, I've got more.
In the US, other teenagers are clipping 10.3 and under in high school settings, but many of those marks aren't eligible as official world record times due to technical or sanction rules, something Shimizu's team met. It marks a broader shift. Sprinting is no longer dominated by Jamaica, and the US young talents in Asia, Oceania, and Europe are emerging fast. Many juniors peak early and never make the leap into top senior competition. But Shimizu's 10 o'clock does more than shock. It qualifies him for the World Athletics Championships this September in Tokyo. That makes him possibly the youngest ever to attempt the 100 meters at Worlds, just 16 years and about 218 days if selected. But selection isn't guaranteed. He didn't compete at Japan's national championships, which may factor into official team picks. Still, insiders believe his time alone might be too hard to ignore. If you're running the exact entry standard and doing it as a teenager, how do selectors leave that kind of promise behind? The physical and mental leap from junior to senior can be brutal, but if he stays healthy, keeps building, and maintains form, this performance suggests he could compete at the top level before many athletes even reach their peak. What makes this even more curious is how Japan's training methods have evolved. There's a growing emphasis on biomechanics, individualized training plans, and data-driven recovery routines. Combine that with a disciplined culture and a surge in local competition, and you have a breeding ground for young talent. Bolt's early focus was on the 200 meters. He only turned serious about 100 meters later. At 20, Bolt ran 10.03. Shimizu at 16 ran faster. That doesn't mean he'll beat Bolt's world record, but he's clearly operating under different biological and training norms. Serato Shimizu said, "I'm happy to have set a high school record. I'd like to get a taste of the World Championships if I can make it." This comparison shows how sprinting has evolved. Younger athletes now benefit from better coaching, conditioning, diet, and gear, including super spike shoes and scientific regimens. And there's the mental side too. Shimizu shows maturity well beyond his years. He handles interviews with poise and keeps a calm demeanor on the track. You don't see nervous glances or overexcitement, just quiet confidence. That mindset is what separates good athletes from great ones. Shimizu qualifies for Tokyo Worlds by time alone, meeting the 10:00 entry standard. If selected, he may become the youngest ever male to contest the 100 meters at a senior world championship. Looking beyond that, there's Gout in Australia already bubbling in sprinting circles. A future showdown could happen in relay pools or at Tokyo if Gout competes there, or later at global meets. Also on the rise, Japan's national relay squads, led by athletes like Hiroki Yanagita and Naoki Nishioka, are picking up pace with consistent tennis performances and championship medals. They may be ready to bring Shimizu into the fold soon. Some even speculate that Shimizu could be a future face of Japan's Olympic squad. With Paris 2024 around the corner and Los Angeles 2028 after that, there's a real possibility he could become the youngest sprinter on Japan's Olympic team in decades. Serato Shimizu didn't just run 10.00 seconds. He rewrote youth sprinting history at 16, crushed previous records by a wide margin, and entered Japan's all-time top 5 list instantly. He beat Bolt's age 20 best. He earned entry to the World Championships and maybe a spot on Japan's 4x100 relay squad. He stood toe-to-toe with rising stars like Gout and showed the rest of the track world what true youth dominance looks like. Shimizu is more than a flash in the pan. His moment in Hiroshima could be the start of something seismic, not just for Japan, but for global sprinting. Will he break 9.90 in years ahead? Can he become a world final contender in Tokyo or Paris? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear. The sprinting future just got a lot more interesting. If you were amazed by Shimizu's speed and want to see how this young sprinter's journey unfolds, make sure you hit that subscribe button, share this with a friend who needs to know about the future of sprinting, and drop a comment below. How fast do you think Shimizu can go next? Saturday, July 26, 2025. Hot Staff Field in Hiroshima, Japan. The final of the boys' 100-meter sprint at the Japan Inter-High School Championships was about to unfold. Nobody expected what happened next. Serato Shimizu exploded from the blocks. The 16-year-old from Seiryo High School in Ishikawa Prefecture crossed the finish line in exactly 10.00 seconds, not 10.01, not 9.99. A perfect round 10.00 that sent shockwaves through the global athletics community. The timing screen flashed the numbers. Shimizu jumped for joy, arms outstretched in celebration. He had just become the fastest under-18 athlete in human history. The previous world record of 10.06 seconds, jointly held by American Christian Miller and Thai sprinter Purapal Boonson, had been obliterated by 0.06 of a second. Racing with a legal tailwind of 1.7 meters per second, Shimizu dominated the field completely. The second-place finisher clocked 10.27 seconds, nearly 0.3 behind the new world record holder.